Alrighty. So I know the usual. We just want to go over some expectations. I'm sure most of you know, you're familiar with how we're doing this three strike rule just to keep everyone accountable. Although we are adding an accommodation to it. But just as a reminder, we expect you to be responsible for your shifts. If you're scheduled and then you need time off after the shift has been posted, like I said, you're all probably familiar with this, but to find a cover, do everything that you can to find a cover, and if you can't find one, come to us. We're happy to talk, happy to make accommodations. That's why it's super important, though, to put in your availability, time off on Jolt, so that when the schedule's posted, or when I'm making the schedule, I see that you have time off, and I'm not going to schedule you, because we're flexible. Like, we're willing to make it work, willing to give you your time off. We just need to know. We also like you to be on time, so try not to be more than 15 minutes late, ideally not late at all. We'll give you a freebie the first time you're late. We're maybe not so good at checking this all the time, but we're trying to be more on top of it. Just wear your full uniform. I know that in the past we've been strict about, oh, we gotta tuck it in, or we gotta wear this or this. I'm okay, just wear your ref uniform if you're reffing. If you're a site supervisor, wear the sandy white shirts if you don't have one, or you don't have a reffing uniform, we will get you one. Send me a message. I know I've had a couple people message me about that. I'm not gonna force you to tuck it in. I know there's someone else that was more strict. I'm not. So just wear the shirt. We're cool with that. But probably don't wear pajamas. Just wear something that looks professional. But if you want to wear jeans, sure. If you want to wear black, I don't know, like black stretchy pants. You want to wear leggings? I'm good with that. Just look professional. That's all I ask. So make sure you're always wearing the correct uniform. Like I said, if you need a shirt, you need a uniform, let us know. Please respond to the group me if it's an important message. We try to put stars or something that makes it look important before the message, at the beginning of the message, so you know if we're like, hey, we really need a response from you. Sometimes it's just a like on the message, that's great. But please respond. I know not everyone has access to their phone all the time. If you're out of town, always exceptions. Like I said, we're flexible, we're on your side. The only reason we do this is we want to keep you guys accountable, and it's hard for us when our employees aren't accountable. It puts us in a bind. So this is to help us help you. And then please just don't use your phone at work unless it's for something that is a work-related purpose. I mean, I feel like I can tell the difference between someone who's scrolling on social media or someone who's like, I gotta make a phone call real quick, or also an emergency phone call, whatever. Like, there's always exceptions, of course, fine. If you need to check the schedule, like whether that's a game schedule, whether that's the staff schedule, like on Jolt, you need to look it up, totally fine. But just don't be using it for social media or messing around. You guys know. So I felt like no, we haven't fired anybody because of strikes. There are people on the line though. So I don't want to fire you. I just, like I said, want to keep you accountable. So we'd like to offer a solution to take away any strikes that if you have accumulated, simply if you cover 2 shifts. So if there's someone that needs a shift picked up and you pick it up, you got 1. But you need to be responsible for keeping track of how many shifts you've covered and when. That way when you come to us, because we're gonna ask that you come to us when you have covered those shifts and want a strike taken away, let us know. We'll check back in the chat. So either when you do cover a shift, it needs to be public in the chat so we know, or you need to send us a message and say, like, so-and-so is covering my shift, which we want to know that anyways. We want to know if you're swapping with somebody. That way we know who's actually working And that's also helpful because where we're giving raises to you guys for working shifts, we want to know who's the person that actually worked it. That way we're giving the raise to the right person. So if you remember, I can't remember if I put this in here, but we offer a 50-cent raise for 75% of shifts worked in a season. If you work multiple, like if you work soccer, if you work softball at the same time, and you work 75% of the shifts for both those sports, we'll give you a raise. And I do understand that sometimes not everybody can be scheduled, and that part's on us. We see that, and if we know that you could have been scheduled and we didn't schedule you because we had too many people, we're still going to put that on your side. So you'll still be eligible for a raise. Any questions on this? You okay? Yes?
How do you become a site supervisor?
16 years old, and basically show us that, like, get with one of us, and by one of us, me and Tasha Keaton, but for soccer, it'd be me and Tasha, and let us know that that's something you want to do. We'll make sure you are paired up with somebody that's done it before. We're willing to give everybody that's responsible and willing to put in the effort a chance. So if that's something you're interested in, I would be willing to have you try. But just know, like, site supervisor does not equal not reffing, because we're going to swap people out. Like, I know Devin, you saw last season, we had to do both. I think Devin's the only one. Well, Max had a little bit more, but maybe Max is not 16, so oops.
I am now, so.
Okay. So we'll swap you out, but site supervisor doesn't equal less work. We want to kind of make that clear. And every one of you should have got a paper that has responsibilities for site supervisor and for a referee. We'll talk about that. But that gives you a heads up of kind of the expectations. So basically, I don't want to say, like, if you've proven worthy, that sounds weird, but, like, I gotta trust you. I've definitely put my trust in the wrong people before and been let down. So I want to put our best people as site supervisors. So if you can show me that you're willing to work hard and we give you a chance to do it, then that's something that you can do more often. Any other questions? We'll talk more about that. Okay, we already kind of covered this, but Jolt did do a new update. If you didn't hear about that already, now you can put up your time off and availability or preferred shifts through the one app, Jolt, on your phone. You used to have to do it on Jolt Lite or on an internet browser. But now you can just do it straight on Jolt. You can see, oh my gosh, y'all didn't tell me, you can't see that very good. Let me fix this. All right, that should be better. Sorry, it's probably small from where you're sitting, but that's just some screenshots I took off of the app on my phone. Mine might look a little bit different because mine's the administrative side, but there is, down here, there's a little button. Someone pull theirs up. I'm curious what yours looks like. Does it, I know there's an availability button on the bottom. I'm curious, is there a time off button on the bottom? It's like mine looks different than yours. What does your guys' show? Under, it should be under schedule. Okay, so you go to schedule. Yeah, so it has dashboard, calendar, availability. Cool. Under availability, you guys, most of you probably are familiar with this already, but you can put in your time off under availability as well. But yeah, you can select what days and times you prefer to work. What days and times obviously you can't work. If you have, just to clarify in case anybody's not familiar, Time off is like a one-time event, like it's my birthday, or I'm going camping for 3 days, I have to watch my baby, so on. And then availability is like a repeating event. So I have track every Wednesday for X amount of days, and you can set that time frame. So this is how I keep track of everything. Anybody that comes to me and says, I need this day off, I always refer them to put it in Jolt because I just can't keep track of it on my phone. I can't keep track of it one-on-one through messages. It just needs to go in Jolt. Good? And if you ever have problems or questions, reach out, come in. Happy to help, always. Okay. To start off with some of the things that we've got at the field for you. These are just items that will be in the bins and binders at each site. So there should be a QR code. You can see all the schedules. This is a time where this is a great time to use your phone. Scan the QR code in the binder. It should be just a big one on a piece of paper. That will take you to all of the schedules for the day. So if someone's asking where they are, like say they know who their coach is or they know who their team is, you can look up their schedule for them. It's on Team Sideline. I checked it. The QR codes work still from last season, but if any time for some reason it's not working, just Google Team Sideline Sandy. First link at the top. It'll take you to all of our game schedules. Game schedules aren't up yet. We're making teams next week, so those will be up soon. The Good Sports Utah Parent Pledge. This is your backup. If you have people that are like fighting against you or they're causing problems, not being a good sport, you do have that paper. It goes over a pledge that every single parent signed when they registered their kid. So if they're doing stuff that's against the parent pledge, feel free to bring it up. Whether you're a supervisor or you're a ref, we make it a required question on registration. So we have our weather policy, concussion policy. Please review those when you have time, whether that's just, and if you'd like a copy, happy to send it. For the weather, the main thing is if there's lightning, we're like an automatic 30-minute delay. That's the big thing. But you guys need to check with us before you cancel games for the whole day. We've had that problem before where there's lightning and it's probably going to cancel the current game because we just can't be that behind. So, but if you're like halfway through a game, if you're more than halfway through a game and there's lightning, like that game's over, but that game will probably be just completed at that point. But we've had it before where there's been lightning and then the whole day got canceled and it was fine the rest of the day. So don't cancel the whole day. Let us know first. I don't live in Sandy, so I don't, like, if I'm not here, which I won't always be here, in fact, probably more times than I won't, but Tasha and I are going to switch off every other week who's the available person to contact, so that way one of us can have a Saturday off every other week, which is nice. I forgot what I was going to say with that. Oh, I live in Sugar House, so I don't know what the weather's like here. It could be totally different. I could drive home from here, it could be pouring rain, make it to my house, the skies are clear. Right? It's only like 20 minutes north of here, but the weather sometimes not the same. So, there's also a set of sportsmanship rules. Again, this is something that people should know about. It's available to the public. It's stuff we talk about with sportsmanship, just a reference page for you. We will have field maps there so you can see where each division is playing. We'll have only fields at Lone Peak and Flatiron, no Buttercup. We've stuck a couple more fields at Flatiron, lower fields down where the ball fields are. So the 2 fields that were at Buttercup will now be at Flatiron. So whoever is supervising there will be in charge of also keeping an eye on those fields. There won't be refs on them because it'll be 1st and 2nd grade fields, but just as an FYI. We'll have the rules, which each of you should have a copy of the rules that we go by for our soccer leagues. An injury report form, which is required to be filled out if you're giving more than just an ice pack or a Band-Aid. Like last season, I think we had some two kids collided, kid split open his ear. I did get the reports. Oh, Avery's not in here. Avery was the one that filled it out. Welcome. There's papers over here on the side if you guys want to pick those up. And then I need those at the end of the day. So if you're the site supervisor, I need any injury reports that are filled out. If it's something like crazy serious, like an ambulance or like, you probably should just let me know about it. Give me a heads up, like before I come in on Monday and just get the report. Because there's a chance that someone's already like reached out to me about it, and it'd be nice to have a heads up. The evaluation report. So most of you are probably familiar with the evaluator role. We've had before where the evaluator and site supervisor have been separate. We'd like to combine those roles together, and we started doing that. I can't remember if we started halfway through part of the like last season, but for those that may not be familiar, an evaluator is somebody, I don't have the paper with me, but also combined with site supervisor. We expect all site supervisors to do this, like I said, combining the role, to go around, watch employees ref, switch them out if they need help, watch for what they need to improve on, tell them the things they need to improve on. So you see something that you're like, oh, they could do this a little bit better, or even if they're doing something that's really great, let them know. Like, I think that always boosts people's confidence. If you see something they're doing good, let them know they're gonna keep doing it. But mostly we want you to, you're here as a training role. We want you to help the referees that are reffing. But be an example too. Switch them out. Say, hey, I noticed this. Watch me do it. I'm gonna swap you for, I don't know, until the next dead ball or something like that. Ideally, we'd like you to, if you are a site supervisor / evaluator, we'd like you to do an evaluation for at least one ref an hour. That's probably good. One ref an hour is good. We're trying to have multiple site supervisors and evaluators so everyone gets a chance at getting some feedback. And be open to the feedback if you are the ref receiving it. I get all the reports at the end of the day, and I enter them into the computer. I send out lots of messages. Hey, like, I see that you're doing really good. I heard this about you. Like, I want you to know if someone didn't tell you what's being said about you. Or I say, hey, like, I noticed you're struggling with this. How can I help you with this particular thing? So that's the evaluation report. I'm kind of trying to breeze over this fast because we got to go over stuff before 11, before we swap. And then the supervisor daily report, which is what you'll fill out at the end of every day if you are the supervisor / evaluator. So the stuff I need turned in at the end of the day is going to be any injuries, the eval reports, the supervisor report. And we drop those off at the Sandy Rec office. You can stay clocked in driving there. Drop them off in the mail slot in the front. Well, it says this is not a mailbox, I think it says on there. But you can slide them through, you can slide papers through. And then on Monday when I come in, I get all the paperwork. So those I need all turned in. We are gonna have, we had these last season, not sure how much it got communicated. Just pencil pouches that have got the yellow and red cards. So the center ref should have the yellow and red cards. A watch to keep track of the time. There's just gonna be a blank note card. I know in the past we've had these like crew chief cards, and I really like those. I'm just gonna leave you a note card. If you have something that goes wrong, if you hear something from a coach, a player, a parent, whatever, that you'd like I wanna back you up. So if you hear something from somebody that you don't like, hit me up, write it down. There'll be a pen in there too. Write it down, what happened, what time, who it was. I mean, you probably don't have their name, but if you can say 11 o'clock game, green team's parent, and then I'll call the coach and say, hey, we had a parent on your team say this, can you talk to your parents? So I'll just leave we'll leave blank note cards in there so that if something happens and you don't have the time to be able to tell a site supervisor, make sure it gets on a note card and make sure it gets to the site supervisor, and that also gets turned in. Because we're here to support you. Okay, so the rest of the PowerPoint is exactly what you have in front of you. The Sandy Soccer rules, I'm just gonna go through them. And if you've got questions or need clarification on anything, just let me know. I'm happy to talk about it, happy to answer anything. So I know in the past, Taylor's had like the rule book for high school soccer. These are the rules that, we go off high school soccer rules, but like, these are the rules that go to the public. So this is what the public's going to refer to. So I would just keep those handy, review them before your shift. But yeah, we're just gonna breeze through things that are on that paper. So if you follow along, like literally copy paste. I know you're probably saying, oh, why do I need to be here if it's just on a piece of paper? We want to be able to have open discussion. We want to be able to talk about things. But also you being here shows me that you care about knowing what you need to know. Even if you've been to our trainings 3, 4, 5 times, whatever, I do appreciate that you're here. And we are making a training like a requirement for everybody. So whoever's not here is gonna have a requirement to complete before they work, so. Okay, so make sure that all players are wearing their uniforms. They have to be wearing a uniform to be able to play. We did get new uniforms this season. There was some, the price of uniforms went up, and basically to keep the price that we wanted to pay, they just got to pick a uniform. So they're a little bit of a different design. However, we still have some of our old uniforms. So some people are going to have the panel jerseys, the ones we've always had, and some are going to have a different style. But everyone on the same team should have the same color jersey, so you shouldn't worry about that. If they don't have a jersey, they can't play. They can switch somebody out if they're subbing. I don't mind that. We don't keep track of fouls on numbers like basketball, so if they need to switch somebody out of jersey if they forgot theirs, that works great. Make sure we're checking shin guards before the game. Make sure everyone's wearing cleats, so check for cleats and shin guards. No metal on their front cleats. No metal at all, but I know sometimes people wear baseball cleats. That's a no-go. Jewelry should be removed. I'm not going to make a big stink about it, but if you notice it, have them take it out. And then if they're wearing casts, have them hit us up if they're wanting to play. But it should be wrapped in something soft so that when they're playing, they don't hit somebody and it hurts. We'd like you guys to ideally explain calls when you make them, especially when it's maybe a more confusing call like offside. And also it's to help the kids learn. Like, they're here in this league to learn. Of course it's going to be competitive, but recreation leagues are ideally just to help kids learn a sport and to get experience in that sport. And also to make friends, have a social life, and there's lots of benefits. But when you make the call, make sure you help explain that to players. If it's an obvious call, don't worry about it. Like an out of bounds call, it's out of bounds. It's out of bounds on you, and you guys are the one making calls, remember. Not the coaches, not the parents, participants. Your decision's gonna be final, so be confident in your call. Because if they see that you're wavering at all, that's when they're gonna jump on you. So if you're confident, you stick to your call, better off you be. And I know that's way easier said than done, but. This is just a breakdown of the times of the games. Ideally, all games will have a 5-minute halftime. However, if coaches are okay, like if you're behind and they're okay cutting halftime short, great. If they're like, no, we have to have our 5 minutes, you should probably give a break. But ideally, we'd like to end the games 5 minutes before the hour. We're doing all games on the hour. The ones we're reffing is 3rd, 4th, and up. So that's really what you need to pay attention to with time. Both 3rd, 4th, and 7th through 10th are just 50-minute games, so it makes it easy. 2 halves of 25 minutes. Make sure there's somebody designated to keep the time, so you guys know how long a half is going for. And then, yeah, 2 halves of 25 minutes and the 5-minute break. That's like, if you're right on time, that will end you 5 minutes before the hour. I know that's like such a small time frame, like such a small, what's the word, like frame of, like window? Yeah, window. So if you, like, even if you start 2 minutes late, you're gonna end at, if you're right on time after that, you're gonna end at 5:57, which, not the end of the world, but, and I know it's hard. I'm sure it's hard to gather everybody and start the game, but do our best to start on time, end on time. That's going to be also a big focus. Because if we get behind in one game, we're going to get behind for the rest of the day. But you're the ones in charge. You blow your whistle, you get everyone out on the field, you get going. If they're short players, tell them that they've got to either, I mean, you've got to split up players from the other team, have them come play for a little bit, or they got to play short because you got to start. Otherwise, you're going to be late for the rest of the day. Okay. A big thing we tell coaches that all players need to play equal amount of playing time. I know this isn't your focus, but if you notice, like, the coach is not playing all their players, just like, that's like something to write down and let us know. Because this, like, the point of signing up for a rec league is so your kid is guaranteed to get playing time. Like comp leagues, high school, not so much, not always, but the rec league, all kids should get equal amount of playing time. So substitutions will happen often, just be aware of that. It should happen during a dead ball. I shouldn't be subbing while the game is going, but a coach will probably signal to you like, hey ref sub, so just be aware of subs coming in and out. It does say in our rules that occasionally the referee may need to stop play for substitutions while the ball is still in play. And it says in this case the game is resumed with the drop ball. Most of the time I don't know that there's a dire need of a sub if the ball is in play, unless there's like an injury, but unless time's going on and on and on, there's no dead ball and they're like, we need to get these kids subbed in or they're not gonna get their playing time, that's okay. We can stop the game. Okay, ways to start and restart a play, or a kickoff. Our kickoff is a way to restart and start a play. So times that we're starting are at the beginning of the match, after a goal is scored, after the second half. Don't know why this is randomly in this spot, but a goal may be scored directly from the kickoff. Okay, is everyone familiar with how a kickoff starts? I also brought markers. Hey, Bree, can I have a Bree? I'm sure everybody knows this very well. I don't want to say it, but we have a couple of cases, so. Got the top of the field, get a big circle in the middle. You're starting your kickoff from there. Cool. I know that was really basic. I probably wouldn't draw that, but huzzah. Catch. It's okay. That's okay. Okay. If everyone needs to be 10 yards away from that inner circle, well, they need to be on the outside of that circle, right? They line up on that circle. I'm like, I'm not wrong, right? Okay, if I ever say anything wrong, correct me. I played soccer before, like growing up, I played rec soccer a lot. I think the last time I really played was like my senior year of high school, which was 8 years ago. So, correct me if I'm wrong. Ball sits in the middle. You guys start with a signal to indicate the start of the kickoff. They can kick the ball forward or backward, and the person who kicks it can't touch it again until it hits somebody else. And then every time a goal is scored, you'll start in that same spot. Okay, so you know the ball's out of play. When? Give your hand, it's on the board. I'm just trying to get some participation, okay? I don't want to talk the whole time. At what point are you going to call a dead ball? Goes out of bounds. Great. Where's out of bounds? I can't hear you. Right. Sweet. Great. So you got the touch line or sideline. I think that touch line's a technical term. I'm going to call it sideline because everyone calls it a sideline. Coaches are not the ones to stop the play, except for the younger grades. They're in charge because you guys won't be reffing their games. Anytime you guys stop the play, the ball's dead, whether it's out of bounds or not. So if there's a foul, you guys call the stop. The ball is in play at all other times, including when, even if it hits the goalpost, the crossbar, or a rebound. What's it? It says if it rebounds from the coaches when they're on the field of play, that's a pre-K for a second. Coaches should never be on the field. No go. Never on the field. If the ball hits you, still in play. No dead ball. A goal is pretty self-explanatory. Goes through the goal line under the crossbar. But anyone can score from a corner kick, a goal kick, a kickoff, a direct free kick, and or balls in play. We'll go over the direct free kicks and indirect kicks soon. Okay, this is actually mostly why I wanted the whiteboard. Who's confused with offside? We'll go over it because I know this is probably the biggest rule we get questions on, and the ones that people have questions about the most, like parents or people talk about this the most. Like we can never get them to make this call. So we're calling offsides for every grade that we're reffing, so 3rd through 10th. I'm just gonna read this. I have a video that will show better because I can talk, but if you can see it, it might be better, it might help you more. So a player is in an offside position if they are near to their opponent's goal line, then both the ball and the second to last opponent. The second to last opponent will be one of the defenders. The last opponent is going to be the goalie. So you're looking for the last defender that's not the goalie. So they're in the offside position if they are near to their opponent's goal line, then both the ball and the second to last opponent, and they're involved in active play. So that's when offsides can be called. I think it's offside. I guess it's not offsides. I don't want to say that, but I think it's just offside. A player can be standing in offside position all game, no call. But as soon as they're involved in a play, it will be called every time. So at the moment the ball is touched or is played by a team,